Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends. Welcome to pre-market here at SpartanTrading.com. Welcome to those of you joining us with our live YouTube stream as well. Wednesday, pre-market. This is what we do Monday through Friday, as long as the markets are open. So earnings season is upon us. Some exciting stuff, right? We're getting some interesting data. But regardless, clearly, right now, it is a function of individual stocks and their earnings. Obviously, we have special events like Microsoft yesterday, and we have Carvana today. So, and then they did an offering, which is a good thing, right? Yesterday, retail sales a little bit softer, a little bit higher. I mean, nothing really dramatic. Year over year was obviously higher. Industrial production's way softer than expected. So we continue to see these, not linear type aggressive moves up or down. I am a little bit surprised by the industrial production, though, to be honest with you. Manufacturing, though, was better than expected, at least in terms of year over year, month over month. Capacity utilization a little bit lower. We had some Fed heads. Inventories a little bit build, not dramatic, right? And then inventories, a little bit of a draw. So once again, nothing dramatic. We had the API crude, a little bit of a draw. Like I said, this is a walk on the wild side. You have a statistical probability of being right, 1% maybe. It's crazy. There's no way to figure this one out, right? Right? Okay. So Australia, the lending index was a little bit better than expected. And once again, we have to look at the Asia Pacific rim simply because to see what's going on. These are trading partners with China, and they are heavily involved in terms of reflection of what's going on in China. China keeps talking the talk, but they're not giving any detailed specifics in terms of any sort of quantitative easing. I need to know what the numbers look like, not just say, oh, well, we are. Okay, that's meaningless as far as I'm concerned. 52-week bill auction, as you can see, less. Okay, co-registration, inflation, softer, still pretty damn high. I mean, but good news. Roger had reported that they're getting a gigafactory. Okay, India's Tata Group, $5 billion gigafactory in the UK, which is good. Right, PPI -2, +3, PPI core a little bit lower. I mean, input, so better numbers in that sense in terms of obviously inflationary side, which we're all seeing that. Don't forget the offset's going to be, in terms of consumer prices. And some of that will filter into PPI. So I really do think that we're pretty much close to a bottom here, at least in terms of on the inflationary side pullback. Time will tell, right? All right, China, this is a big deal. Okay. China hangs its hat on foreign investment. And guess what? They're going to get clubbed really hard, and then they're going to get serious, and then things will turn around. And then you're going to get probably a 3 to 6 month rally, potentially. They're just playing games. They're being so cavalier. The same thing with that stupid thing with COVID, right? Zero COVID, the insanity of it. They're doing stupid stuff right now, and I'm not ashamed to say that or afraid to say it because final numbers as expected, no changes there, right? A little bit higher here. German 30-year bond auction 2.4, a little bit higher. Right, and then we have mortgage backs. You know what I think about that. Coming down, market 210, a little bit higher there. Refinancing, a little bit higher. Right, this is really usurious. The spread between mortgages and what the banks are making. It's the largest spread ever. That's how bad it is. Okay, just say ever. And that's hey, greed. Let's make more money. So see how that plays out, right? And then building permits, housing starts, not a lot going on, right? It's all about earnings right now. see what these crude numbers, natty gas numbers look like. And then you've got the, anyways. What do we got? ASML, Goldman Sachs, Halliburton, Bancorp, Alley. Okay, so they redid it. I kind of like it. What do you think? Right? Carvana, surprise, right? That was fantastic, right? Halliburton. And basically, pretty much, UBS, interesting, missed, beat. So Goldman Sachs, and then we have CFG, Citizens Financial, right? Alley, nice, right? But a lot of these, it's kind of hard because they were bought up into earnings. So we're getting muted responses, regardless. Yeah. We'll see. ASML, right? Be top and bottom. So looking good, feeling good. All right, 100% statistical probability that they will high grades. It's already built in. There's nothing here, citizens. Okay, literally nothing here, citizens. Okay, so that would get us 5 1/4. And yet, okay, so no change, one more, and then one little. This is actually smart, okay? They said 2, but maybe they won't. I don't know if that's important for the market or not, to be honest with you at this point in time. The thing that really gets me frustrated is the shifting lower and lower down here. We're talking almost a 200 basis point cut in the Fed funds. Good luck with that. Everyone's still sticking with that deep recession thing. It's not going to happen. Just not going to happen. We don't want to know about the safest cities, do we? Not really. U.S. retail sales inflation, you can see what's going on here. Retail sales. And then you have here Michigan and then the CPI. But retail sales actually is not bad, right? From that construct. Okay. I'm not talking ESG. I'm not talking anything like that, okay? The world is baking. What does that mean? Infrastructure, electric grid, and generators. That's what it means. 114 degrees, 109 degrees in Italy. The world is baking. Okay, that's factual, all right? And I'm being, look, this is going to continue, all right? This disruption. It will mainly impact the electric grid, which is, at least in the United States. And if you're basically dependent on wind, okay, for their energy, you don't have wind in heat waves. Doesn't happen. Okay. I'm not talking ESG. I'm just talking facts. There's a problem in terms of supplying electricity. Okay. How that is accomplished. Europe, God bless them. I don't know how they're going to figure that one out. Okay. But they got a problem. Right. Don't forget, they don't have air conditioning the way we have air conditioning. I don't know what they're going to do. Okay. Whether, I don't know. They got a problem. Trump leads the Republican presidential nomination contest with 47% support, DeSantis 19%. Okay. Leads the Democratic, this is whatever. PBOC outstanding structural policy tool, that's 6.87 trillion won as of the end of June. Germany 30-year we now, Eurozone, CPI, whatever, breaking Eurozone, That's about it. Okay, so this is an interesting trend spider. I don't know if any of you are following them, but one of the people I follows him. So I thought it was kind of interesting to see what this dude is all about. So he actually said this is kind of interesting. So going back in time over the last decade, if you bought on earnings day and exited 5 candles later, you would have a 53% win rate and 2.76 on Tesla. So, Let's be honest here. What does this mean? Okay. Well, pretty much everything's done, right? In two. So that's not how you make money on Tesla, right? So breaking all-time highs, you know the drill. Higher, Tesla. Well, not all-time highs, but this downtrend line, I'm telling you right now, we're at it. If we break through it, 600 plus, that's my target on Tesla in a few years. So this was also interesting. So this is as of yesterday, the crunching, the numbers, basically, they said that this was paid on the ask, okay? And you can see when, and you can say bullish, BKI, Tesla, and Microsoft, Coin, Tesla, Google, BBIO. I thought that was kind of interesting, right? So I'm just starting to look at this, do that. It looks like interesting research, the stuff I would like. All right, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and Citi looking ready to blow, which I'm not disagreeing with. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, well, you know the drill here. So the S&P obviously is in a different situation, but, right? They may have to. I don't know what their rules are. NASDAQ had to by their rules. Okay, it was a requirement. All right, so Carvana, PSU chain, they did 35 million shell. God bless them. Someone finally, a business that knows how to do this. Okay, still up 23%. Making money today. Stella, more Stella. I got Stella coming in. Pauses plan to remove lead cables from Lake Tahoe. Eyes more testing. They're screwed right now. Penalty box. Earnings preview, yeah, Taiwan semi results as focus. They got Charles Schwab, CEO says return of the bulls based on equity exposure, yada, yada, yada. ASML beats top and bottom. Qualcomm's acquisition of VMware gets provincial clearance in the UK. So VMware is moving, right? Baby Joe doing its thing, right? See a little bit of a push this morning. We saw Qualcomm. Market, kind of interesting in that one. Little gap and pushing a little bit. So a little continuation on the semi side. Street Journal. As you can see. This is crazy. So, I mean, this is what is Generac. That's all I have to say. Legacy, under 100, under 90 was a legacy trade. That's all I have to say. Investors are feeling bold again. Goldman Sachs, well, if it's 58%, senators to propose ban on U.S. lawmakers. Thank God. Seriously? What did a freaking ass trust? Blind trust, just like the president does, whatever. That's thievery. Both sides. Both sides. Thievery. Both sides. Microsoft and Activision still committed to $75 billion deal. I don't know why this is an issue. People are writing calls because at 95 you get 80 cents. So, I don't know. Balance. Banks on a roll. Yeah, we know. Stocks was great. Yeah. Oh, actually, let me refresh this. I was a little late today. Billions in childcare funds expire soon. The fallout of childcare funds. All right. So this is a problem. You know, the problem was so much money was spent on quantitative easing. On the corporate side, small businesses, as well as individuals. But, well, at least on the individual side, a lot of it went back into the economy, right? Corporates. Anyways, I don't know how this ends. Okay, so if you can't afford, for those of you, and I know, have young children, childcare is freaking ass. It's a paycheck and then some for a lot of people. Okay. I don't know how that, like, and this is how people get on, Medicaid. Because they have children, childcare until they get into the school system. What are they going to do? And I don't look, these are big issues and I have no idea where we go moving forward. I just don't. Fund manager, this, I don't know. Copper is the future. Freeport McMoran is the stock to buy. We know we're in it. God bless. I'm in the copper ETF as well as, CCJ. They were so wrong on this thing. That was such a gift on copper, the lows we had. Oh my God. Just say, such a gift. All right, let's see what I got going on here today. I'm a little bit behind. I would have a little late start. All right. Anyways, calls for Kissinger style diplomatic wisdom. For those of you who don't know who Henry Kissinger is, you should read about him. Well, I mean, the imagination that man has had. Now, a lot of people would say, well, China, and stuff. It doesn't matter. There's more things in play. Nothing is black and white. Well, something's not black and white in terms of buying and selling profits, someone buying and selling. But anyways, in the world we live in life itself, nothing is really black and white. There's always a gray, right? And I'm a student of history, and in college, I majored in East Asian studies and philosophy. Okay. And basically, anyways, China will determine its own path to carbon reduction. She says, I know, whatever. So there's certain countries hindering the tech development of others. Guess what? That's us. All right, so you saw what we went through, right? Microsoft. I'm actually pretty surprised on this. I thought this would have been a lot more than that, FYI. On Microsoft. So what does that tell us? That was retail, right? So volume, this is where it really flummoxed me because retail is very, 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 very engaged, okay? Retail equals volume, equals buying and selling, equals volume is an aggregate. It's not a net. It's a gross number of buys and sells, okay? It's really, really tricky. Now, I understand the construct, okay? But a lot of times it's just that you have to expect and anticipate profit taking. I think this is where people get a little bit unsure of themselves and a lack of understanding. Okay. It's not a given, right? It's not a given because if you only have on Microsoft 31 sweeps, okay, that means there was a hell of a lot of retail buying and selling. And we know this, right? Just by the strikes. And there was profit taking on it. And you have to expect that. If you don't expect it, then you'll peak. Just saying. That's my public service announcement. Right? Now, if they keep coming after it and we're going into, but don't forget, this is OPEX. If you don't understand, OPEX is the highest, normally the highest volume week. Okay, day is Friday, expiration day on the option side. Okay, so you're going to see, we're seeing that with a lot of these sweeps rolling out big size, right? We haven't seen this in a while. Okay, I'm just saying, it's just very, 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 very not that simple to tease out. That's what I'm saying. MBCT. A small size there. What's going on? Marvell, Koopmans, sell tied to options. There was some selling before that. That was not tied to options. GKOS, tied to options, not tied to options. And then you see here, CRWD was not tied to options. But you know what? God bless. Take a paycheck. If you're going to take a paycheck, 3.84 million, sweet. Right? Come on. All right, what do we got? lot. Analysts, right? A lot. Starbucks, Chanel, I like that. OFIX, but these are, but you know, you can see that, right? So here we go. It's not populating right, but Cisco, snowing, it's snowing. Does anyone see that it's snowing? I have some snow and I have a small position now. I took some profits. It has to pop that top. All right, Intuit, blue, Bushies, pump, PTN, HP, and NBO. These are top tier ones, 6 to 10. Okay, neutral, no price change, and then 55 to 62, JP Morgan, and Cisco, Samick, Benjamin Hartford, downgrades. So why is this not populating? I don't know why that's not populating. Okay, so we don't have any studs, but Sunmark, Globe, HWC, PCH, overweight to neutral. This is a price down. This is up and up. This is down, up. And here's a lot of initiations today, right? OBBN, SENS, and CLBT top studs. Okay, initiations. Okay, buy, underperform, outperform, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Danaher, I love Danaher, initiates to outperform. But, like I say, well, 47%, well, it's Ray James, Andrew Cooper, almost 50%, okay. But anyways, all of these have price targets. I don't have them on here, but if you go to Jesus, he has all that stuff. He posts all that stuff in terms of the, well, he normally does. Anyways, Jesus. All right, so let's see what's going on here. We know that everything is bullish right now, right? Suffers a historic decline. Who said that? It was going to be a low? God bless. I mean, this one. Okay. All right. For months now, I've given you a narrative, and I've been absolutely positively spot on about the deleveraging from the US dollar. Okay. Everybody, a lot of people spit in my bean could. Okay. 5, 10, 15 years down the road, this is what's happening, right? If you understand history, this is a logical progression, okay? Whether it's policy, I don't care. This is for every action, there's a reaction. If there is a policy in place, okay, that basically says, I don't give a shit about anybody else. I only care about my own. I don't care what my currency does to anybody else. Okay. Countries don't like that. Right. We're seeing more and more. This is the path forward. I continue to say. Okay. If you have a weakening US dollar, overseas investment will wane because of the hedging need. Okay. Where that happens, you're going to see a lot of these overseas pension funds, country funds, etc., right? Because of the US dollar decline, putting their money elsewhere. This gives us the narrative. India, Mexico, stuff like that, Europe, even Asia Pacific Rim. Okay. That's just fact, right? And if you want to diversify your portfolio, and we do have a date, August 2nd, for my webinar, introduction webinar to the masterclass, FYI. This is what I go over, okay, these details. And this is how you broaden out where you look for opportunities from a trading/investment opportunity, okay? And this has geopolitical consequences that I do not think the United States, we as a people care about, right? But it will be in fact impactful, right? Just say 1978. So 67% statistical probability continuation on the decline. All right, let's see what's going on here. Still kind of rosy, right? Not bad, right? We don't care. We love it. So it's when the 200, when this gets deep red, when this gets deep red, when this gets, so we're still seeing ebbs and flows. I think this is where the opportunity lies. Nifty 50, seriously, people, I pounded the table on India months and months and months ago. This would be a long-term opportunity of a lifetime with India. Okay, whether you choose to take it or not, right? So far, so good. This is what I'm talking about when you understand, and this is because I worked overseas. Well, I had an internship overseas, okay? And I understood, and I understand the mechanisms involved, okay? When I was overseas, okay, as an American, I was absolutely positively trashed. Okay. Overseas, people don't like us. Even Canada doesn't like us. Okay. And you say, well, who cares? Well, eventually, you know, it does matter eventually. Right? What do we got? So here you go here. This is representational. I don't know what that is. So this is that Massimo, right? Coffee, lumber, cocoa, cattle, sugar. Don't forget with the El Nino, it impacts South America in terms of a lot of flooding going. There's all kinds of craziness. Nigeria, and you can see over there. Consumer staples still low, low, low. Industrial technology, you know the drill here, right? Okay. You know about seasonality, up, down, and all around. Look, I mean, we'll see what happens with earnings today, Netflix. So just be aware that it's 50-50, right? With the earnings move, okay? After the earnings move, what this does. Okay, Netflix, United, well, you get the chills on you. And then we have Taiwan Semi, which is, I think, really important to watch too. I think it goes higher, but that's just my personal opinion, and I have lots of those, right? All right, let's take a look at some of these commodity things, okay? So this is a 10-year note. Leverage money is short up the wazoo. Right? And this is asset managers. So the shorts are much larger than the long. The shorts have some position, but you can see here, obviously, they're longs, right? So anyways, uses and Mises 50-50. Other reportables not using the Mises, short 33, okay? So, you know, this is interesting, right? Leverage money has been right so far, but we'll see how long that lasts. So what would be super cool, really bullish, right, is if we have a rip your face off rally to the top end of the thing. All right, so let's take a look at corn. Okay. So this is what I like to look at, okay? So this is a problem, right? Because in terms of what the producers have done. So this is actually good but bad, right? Normally they hedge more, but they're basically hedged 60% of their crops already, okay? So, and they did it at the lows, right? So you can do the math on that. Managed money is short, God bless, okay? This is where things get really fun. And this is where these guys who think they know what they're doing, don't. Guys, gals. All right, let's see what's going on here. We'll continue to invert. 5 out is flat, and then the front end is still that way. Okay. Overseas, red, Canada down, Japan, Australia, everybody red, 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 red. Okay. We'll see. we'll see what happens here. This is the 2-5. So as you can see, the 2-5, that front end continues to invert. The Fed is playing with fire. So I have to say, they're really messing around here, guys. Okay. That's all that's my Reader's Digest version of this. Okay. They're really playing with fire right now. And this Fed, as incompetent as it is going to get massively burned. I have nothing to compare this to. Well, actually, let's see if that's correct. On the yield curve side, let's see if we have the 2-5 up here. 2-1. Okay, that actually wasn't as bad. Let's see if no, they don't have the 2-5. I don't have the data, unfortunately. Anyways, good luck. Here's the 5-10. That's holding up. Oh, you know, this was involvement by somebody, right? This is the 530, and you can see how it's bouncing. It's almost flat now. So they're basically more concerned about the 5-year than they are about the 2-year. I don't know what to tell you on that one. I don't know why that's in there. Okay. So here's the Chinese. So foreign direct investments, great example, right? You basically lower your interest rates, you devalue your currency. People don't like that. Just say, you don't like that. Because let's take this to the next step. Okay, so let's say you were investing in the U.S. bond market, treasuries, right? Okay, and you're getting X thing, but your local currency is devaluing. Okay, it's the U.S. dollar, local currency is devaluing, right? It eats away at your profits. Whatever return you would have gotten, and then you factor in inflation, that's not a good investment for a foreign country, just saying, at this point in time. But you know, our market's big enough to have enough fun. So this is what it looks like. This is weekly, but you can see this is a yearly since September, sideways consolidation pattern. We got rebuffed at the top end, top of the Bollinger. We're probably heading down here. I don't know how this breaks. And don't forget, it's a commodity, an asset class. So I don't know. Okay, so let's talk here. In terms of the US dollar, right, where we are. All right, so this is just 1 month. Okay. All right, it doesn't seem like a lot, right? But basically from here down to here, 4%. If you're in US dollars in the US Treasury market, your currency exposure just went down 4%. Whatever your return was 4%. This is what I'm saying in terms of how this impacts foreign investment in some things, right? And here we have the Chinese yuan. I don't know if they'll let this pop, to be honest with you. I just don't know. They may have to. I don't know. They got problems. Crypto's up a little bit. Not much going on here. Solana, where's that XRP shit? What is it? I don't know. The Ripple effect? I don't know. Anyways. Look at all these names. Whatever. Bitcoin. Still consolidation. All right, let's talk about commodities today until Spartan jumps on. Gold up, silver down, silver up, sorry. Up. I am overweight now officially, silver, gold, but you know that. Silver as well. Copper's down, platinum's down, yada, yada. Crude up, right? Natty gas down. No, these are normally inverse, right? This is a heavily traded spread. Crude, natty gas, you know that, right? So heating oil up, yada, yada. Aluminum, zinc, nickel, copper, whatever, wheat up, right? You know, I'm in the agribusiness. I'm in DBA, agricultural. Look at the rip on these things. Okay, so this, okay, all this corn filters in to this because the cost of feeding your cattle, your hogs goes up, right? So you basically increase orange juice. This is all consumer driven stuff. That's why I was saying we probably have seen a meaningful low in the CPI, and that will, I think that's going to blow up the bond market again. Because they're looking for almost a 200 basis point cut by the end of next year. And how does that happen when you basically have this stuff going on right now? Oats. Okay, I'm just saying, I mean, this is important. All right, here's DBC, a little bit of a double top. I'm going to be a little patient on this. I haven't sold any yet at this stuff. I might, if we basically don't clear it this week, I'll sell probably, you know, we bought it down here. So, I don't know, still holding up here. A little double bottom, consolidation. Let's see what happens there, right? So this is natty gas against CTRA. So, you know, it's hard to figure out. So I'm using this as my litmus, and you can see here how it's weakened dramatically against. I think if this is going to change, though, I think this is going to pop this up. This is a multi-month sideways consolidation. Nothing here yet. Okay, we'd have to break this bear flag. Here's a boil. So this is what I like to use as my surrogate. Got pinned below the 10 EMA. This is the weekly. You can see that. Still holding this 55.31. Okay. You know, like I say, it's a very, very small position. It's only 1% now, so it's really meaningless. So Equinor, this is what I told you about. We bought off this double bottom. This is the Norwegian natty gas, and this supplies a lot of natty gas. Well, will supply more to Europe as the pipeline. I don't know what's going to happen with Russia. The fact with the grain deal, I would not be surprised if they do something on the oil side. That would be a macro shock. That would be very explosive, okay, for oil, natty gas, etc. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm just saying. A little bit of a top here. This is the 20 AMA. This is the reversion to the meters up here. So, but we're consolidating within pin between the two. This is one that I've been in, Kling. I got it off here. Sold a little bit, still have some on. I don't know if any of you followed me on that trade. I posted it a few times. I talked about it a few times. This is the one that actually got call sweep, stuff like that. I had it in multiple accounts, and I still have it in multiple accounts. I'm up, like, how much am I up on the clean? I'm up 16% on that trade. You know, I think we break out. Okay, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think we break out. But I'm going to give it a little bit more time to see if it does happen. Okay, costs, another one. So I want you to start looking at some of these natty gas names, these small ones. I think they're going to actually get crazy. It won't happen until we see. You can see here, this is next, because this is more of a retail mean type thing, right? Because of the price on it. Keep an eye on this one. We pop that top, okay? Obviously, this is a multi-month, multi-year consolidation pattern, right? I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but if we want to actually to be really safe on that, that would be what it looks like. Okay. I don't, tell us another one. Keep an eye on this one. I think this one's going to start getting its jiggy going on. I'm slowly accumulating a little of this, basically because of where we are. We're starting to, we haven't officially broke out. So basically, if it, you know, I got some calls down here, but I didn't buy any equity yet, but I'm watching it right now. All right. So here's crude natty gas. So this is kind of interesting, right? So this, believe it or not, is one of the heaviest traded spreads on the commodity side.
All right, Beth, ready to pop on whatever here.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys, what's up? What's going on? Let me just pop up the screen share here. We'll get right into it. So if you guys are new to chat and haven't done so, make sure to click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. You're going to pop in a chat. It's going to look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, click on this disclaimer section, give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section and scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, you got a link to the disclaimer as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both. In regards to risk reward, guys, most important ratio in trading in terms of risk control, profitability. Go through this videos explaining how risk reward works. Get risk reward profiles here, which you can use to match your account size as well as your risk reward threshold. And then you do have this risk reward calculator right below that you can use to, basically calculate risk reward on the go as you are trading. Continue to scroll down. You have the summary of how this chat works, breaks all these channels work on the left-hand side, so you can properly navigate the chat for the day. Points you've already been looking. Continue to scroll down. We have summary of how how to read alerts on the options and equity side. Pretty straightforward in that regard, breaking down, basically, how to interpret what we're saying on the options and equity side. Continue to scroll down. We have the options rules that we like to use Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, SPX rules that we like to use every single day on the SPX ideas. Continue to scroll down. We have the any with a small account less than 10K breaking down. If you do have a smaller account less than 10K, some rules, information, discipline you could put in place. You could better manage your account. Last but not least, how to pick ideas from an options or equity perspective by overlaying your own criteria on top of the ideas, so you're left with only things that do make sense. All right, high conviction small account trades, post in that section when they do make sense as well. Pre-market tickers on watch. What do we got going on today, guys? So a couple things: Tesla, Humana, CRM, VMW, CVNA, and DMAC. So Tesla gapping up, continuation from last day's move. Humana gapping up, same thing. CRM, Salesforce announces general availability and pricing for GPT powered features for sale and service secured through Einstein GPT trust layer, gapping up on that. VMW, a CMA panel, has provisionally found AVGO's deal to buy VMware would not weaken competition in the supply of critical computer server products, gapping up. CVNA gapping up on their Q2 earnings, and then DMAC stock is rising on updated special purpose acquisition on their updated, basically SPAC plans, I guess is what we'll just say. All right, let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. So first two we're going to be looking at today, guys, going to be the spine of the fang, or sorry, not the spine of the fang. Going to be that Tesla and Humana. Let's have a look. So Tesla, Humana, first two we're looking at. Okay, so Tesla, guys. Very good looking chart. We talked about this being the week it would break out, and it is certainly before earnings, which is nice. We're gonna get one more level here. Okay. Perfect. I'm going to use last day's highs too as a level. You know what? No, I'm not. Okay, pivot to the upside today. 292.39 levels able to hold. 297.51, 304.17. Unable to hold. 285.64, 281.20. Going to be leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push towards that $300 level. I think it's the magnet, and I think it's going to be continuing pushing towards that level before earnings. So that is Tesla. Let's take a look at Humana, gapping up a little bit. I like this name just because of the amount of room it has off the lows, primarily, which is obviously quite a bit, as we can see on the chart. All right, let's take a look at this thing intraday. Nice little curl, just reclaimed EMA support off the lows. Downtrend did break in the short term. 444.31 pivot. Upside is that's able to hold. 451.48 to 458.43. Unable to hold. 439.67. If that level breaks, we got room for continuation lower into the 435.46 spot on the downside. Leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push higher if that pivot point is able to hold. Let me just take a screenshot of this. Let's move on to the next. That's Tesla, and that is Humana. Let's take a look at CRM DMW. All right, guys, CRM, let's have a look. Beautiful move, actually. Starting to get that next leg up here. So CRM upside pivot is going to be the 232.17 level holds 234.72, 238.62 on the upside, unable to hold 227.71 to 223.49 downside, leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push higher if the pivot point is able to stay intact. That's CRM. Let's take a look at VNW. Okay. Should be good. VNW pivot 168.20 levels able to hold 172.55. If that level breaks, we got room for continuation towards 176.21. Unable to hold 164.41 to 161.20. 9 on the downside, leaning bullish, neutral, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point is able to hold. So that is CRM, that is VMW. All right, next two we're looking at, guys, CVNA and DMNQ. Lovely move on that CVNA. Big gap up there, guys. Going off the lows, some really nice range to the upside now. If we can get back above these recent range resistance levels from before, we'll take a look at where those are in just a second. Let me go one higher there. Get that pivot, and let's take a look where we're at. Yeah, okay, so pivot to the upside today, 50.95. Level holds 58.68 to 63.68. Unable to hold 44.72, 41.35. Downside leaning bullish neutral. Looking for a continuation push higher today if the pivot point's able to hold. Let's take a look at DMAC. Okay. I'm gonna have to look at the just the intraday chart here for levels, just using that previous spike. Yeah, that's fine. Pivot 1460 levels able to hold 1749 to 1967, unable to hold 12 to 1114. Going to be leaning bearish, looking for a pop topping, short that name. Looks like it's just, you know, not really going to give it much. If it does pop, it typically gives it back. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen again. All right, let's take a look at the spine of Fang. All right, guys, SPY pivot 453.66 level holds 456.08, 458.18, unable to hold 450. Whoops. Just get that level again. Unable to hold 450.93 to 447.51 on the downside. Overall on the SPY going to be leaning bullish, looking for, or bullish neutral, looking for a continuation grind higher. I do like the look of the market. No reason not to like it, in my opinion. Daily chart will be slightly extended to the upside today, but not much. Enough, in my opinion, that would, require a big pullback. So we'll monitor it, but as long as that pivot holds, it should be bullish, in my opinion. So daily chart looks good. Obviously, that nice little breakout yesterday that occurred was quite bullish. So ascending wedge being able to break the top typically leads to a parabolic move, or more of a type of momentum type of move, I should say. That's the SPY. Let's take a look at Apple, the rest of the fan. All right, guys, Apple pivots. That's that. That's that. Get some 2 fibs here, guys, on Apple. So pivot to the upside today is going to be the 194.30 levels able to be reclaimed or broken out, I should say. We got room towards 195.98 to 198.74. Unable to hold 192.22 on the downside. If that level breaks, we got room for continuation lower to 189.50. 3 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral. So that's Apple. Let's take a look at Amazon. All right, Amazon pivot upside today, 133.84 level hold, 135.36 to 139.48 above there. Unable to hold, we look for pullback to 131.82. If that level breaks, 128.89 downside, leaning bullish. Neutral actually on this name. Now that the gap's filled, I think we can actually see a little bit of a flag break and a push higher. So it does look good in my opinion for continuation there. All right, let's take a look at Netflix. Yeah. All right, pivot to the upside today, 475.84 level holds 493.80, unable to hold 495, or sorry, 459.06 downside, leaning bullish neutral. Want to see probably a retest of the pivot this morning, a little bit of consolidation on it, and then the next leg up if it's going to be able to push. We had a beautiful 20-point plus trade on that yesterday. We'll see if we get the continuation today on it. Sweet. Meta, lovely. Oh yeah, this is a good looking chart, guys. That's ready to break out. Okay, so pivot 316.25. If that level is able to be broken, we should have room for continuation to the 324.11 spot. Above that, 329.84. Getting bullish, looking for a continuation push higher if the pivot point's able to hold on Meta. Let's take a look at last but not least, the Google. And then I will pass it over to South Beach, my friends. All right, Google, which I do like Google too. The daily chart looks good. Same as Amazon, right? Fill the gap, looks good for continuation. 124.14 pivot level holds 125.22. That level breaks 127.07 on the upside. Unable to hold 122.48 to 120.02 on the downside. Going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side today. And then if I'm looking at the QQQs and the SPX, I would also be leaning bullish neutral on that, guys. Just an FYI for those indices. You'll see them posted in chat shortly here after I pass it over to South Beach, but just letting you guys know my leaning on those two as well. So anyways, I'm going to go and pass over to South Beach, guys. We'll type up that pre-market action plan, and then we'll do a quick little recap before the open. South Beach, if you're ready, she's all yours for now, my friend.
Hey guys, it's nice to be back. Actually, it's been a for your time. But I'm really thrilled to be back with you guys, to be honest with you. Sometimes you get perspective when you're not around, you know what I mean? And that you don't have when you're staring at that freaking machine all day. And it just seems to me like everybody is so anxious about not being in the market because all these strategists were feeding us a pile of shit. And that pile of shit was, we're going into a recession, number one. The first half is going to be crappy, number two. Stocks are going to have a decade of non-movement, number three. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And now people are saying, holy shit, I don't own enough stock. What's going to happen to my retirement? I've given up, you know, like all this stuff that I could have been making money on because these guys talked me out of being invested. And now they're trying to play catch up. And that's not just individual investors, that's really across the board. And I think it's global. So everybody is like very anxious, tons of anxiety out there. How did I miss this move? And at the end of the day, guys, this is one of the great moves of all time. I mean, to have the NASDAQ up, what are we up so far this year? 35% or some crazy number like that. And all these guys basically sold right at the freaking bottom because all these strategists talked them out of it. Okay, so you look at the market technically, and there's no quit in sight. The Dow Jones, what did it have? 7 up days in a row. And, you know, I'll look at my machine in the morning when I wake up, and then I have a bunch of shit I had to take care of. So I don't look. And sure enough, the market's ripping like a mother. All right. And that's been today. It's been like every day like that. And I think the reasons are more or less what I gave you. And now we have this soft landing narrative that seems to be taking hold. So everything's rosy. So you got this Sunday, and now with the soft landing scenario, they throw a cherry on top. So basically, that's the story. I'll tell you what happened in AMD. The reason AMD is running, guys, is because Digitimes is saying companies are pivoting and using the AMD chip as and one of the AMD chips as competition for the NVIDIA chip. Okay, I just heard that over a squawk, just so you know. And Rob just posted it. So there you go. Okay. So anyway, technically the market's in really good shape. You look at the bond market, which we always look at, right? The 10-year was what, above 4% in a meaningful way. And now it's back to 375. Okay. The only, thing you can say is if you want to be bearish, that the inversion is still 1. I mean, more or less. And the short end of the curve is holding up pretty good. All right. You look over in London today, their rates are down a lot. They had a CPI number we'll talk about in a minute. And the Eurozone rates are down, kind of flattish. All right. But that's the bond market. Looking at commodities now, oil is basically flattish, up a little bit, still below that 80 point. Natural gas has no signs of life in it as of now, but that could change. Silver, copper, all that stuff is in trading range. Gold is reacted to the dollar, but copper's been in a really tight trading range. And then you have the agricultural commodities, right? If you look at lumber, which is up from what? It got as low as 400 and now it's pushing 600. You see, maybe people think the housing market will come back somewhat. Rates are a little lower, so that may help somewhat. And so that's that one. But by and large, a lot of these have been trading, in their own little ranges. Currency wise, dollars had a rough trip in the last, week and a half or so. It's up this morning against the North American, in North America against the yen, it's up a little bit. Against China, it's up quite a bit, 0.04, which is back 722, but they're a completely different story. And the euro and the pound have had good rallies, right? 112 and 129 there. Crypto You know, it's below 30,000, but it's been pretty strong, right? Ethereum, Solana, all of them. Bond market we discussed. Let's look at the foreign markets. So FTSE is up 1.6% based on that CPI number. DAX is a little south of unchanged. Over in Europe, we have Nikkei up 1%. China markets in the shit house, as is Hong Kong, and Taiwan is down 0.6 today. Okay, so there's your backdrop. All right, so you got the banks and Fed. We have that meeting by the Fed in July, at the 20-something, and they're looking 97% for a quarter point raise, 3% chance of no change. So it's pretty well ingrained in the market. We're going to have a quarter point. I mean, me personally, I think probably this is the last raise for a while, unless something changes, and I don't see that happening. The only thing that could really hurt the market is the wealth effect, and it doesn't appear to be working. So I think this is the last rate for a while, and rate hike for a while, and we'll see what happens with that. UK inflation came in at what, 7.9 versus 8.2, and their bond market had a big reaction to that. So that went in the right direction for them. Had 7 days in a row of the Dow up. Morgan Stanley has taken 200 programmers out of China because China is limiting their access to data. So that's China. What else is happening in China? We'll discuss the other stuff, Russia in a minute. Crypto, we discussed Mr. Market. You know, I don't want to give a take on Mr. Market other than to say what I said earlier, because if I'm not here, I don't want to, you know, give conclusions that aren't 100% accurate. So, you know, I haven't been watching the market I haven't been able to. So I'm just being perfectly honest. And what's working, buy, hold. That's what's working. And you could do it with just about anything. All right. So I gave you the UK thing, Trump, more legal stuff with this clown. Now it's Michigan. So, you know, the lawsuits continue to pile up. Eurozone CPI came in better than expectations as well, 5.5 versus 6.1. So that's better. These airlines have been nonstop, but I'll tell you something, guys. It's a shit show out there. Okay. I tried to get home Sunday night. I was at the airport for 10 hours. 10. In order to get a flight out in the next 48 hours, a one-way ticket from Palm Beach County to New York, they wanted $2,500. These guys are gouging every time there's a snafu in the system. And the snafu could be anything from air traffic controllers to the weather. They wanted $2,500 per ticket. Think about that for a second. Okay. I mean, you want to talk about gouging? It's a joke. Okay. And they complain and complain. And all the time, guys, I would have gone to Hartford. Hartford was the same price, twins. And so was Boston. And so was Philly. And so was any town. I would have taken any one of them. If you could get on a flight, $2,500 a ticket that would normally cost $166. You want to know why the airlines are making money? One of the reasons is they're gouging people every chance they get. Okay, truly. And I was at the airport yesterday for 6 hours trying to get out. It's impossible. 10 hours, right? I got there 9:30 in the morning. I got on and off a plane 3 times. And the third time I was on, it was ready to go, and there was wind shear in Florida. I had to get off. Okay, I got there at 9:30. I got home at 7:45 at night. Okay, I am not exaggerating. Hard to believe. Anyway, moving on. Arian was making the point that I made earlier, that investors are being pulled into the market because of this soft landing narrative. The U.S. government is forgiving $30 billion in student loans. If you read between the lines, I don't agree with a lot from the Biden administration, but these guys have been paying loans for 20 to 25 years. Okay. It's not a big deal. Okay. Yes, I agree with you, Roger. It's crazy. Okay, so what else is happening in China? China is complaining that their foreign trade faces extreme extraordinary circumstances based on politicalization of trade. So they're probably right. Okay. And it's going to get worse for them, right? Because if you have a company and you're producing shit in China and you know damn well that they're going into Taiwan, and you know damn well that if they do, we're going to stop doing business with them and you're going to have to stop, you might as well move the ship before you hit the rock. So it ain't getting any better for these guys. You know what I mean? So that's China, and their situation is kind of crappy because they're an export economy. That's how they live. All right. And so if you're going to buy stuff in China, like Alibaba, which I like, based upon what I'm saying, they're basically an internally based company. They don't export a lot. You don't want to be involved in companies that are making shit for other people. I'll tell you that much. All right. And you don't want to be selling a whole lot in China because they're going to get pissed off as well, right? So that's the story with that deal. And we can send as many guys over as we want to make nice. The truth of the matter is we're not changing our policies. All right. Mortgage demand for refis went up a little bit based on rates coming in a little bit, 707 to 687. Federal Trade Commission, they didn't like the ruling in Microsoft, right? So they're out this morning, the guy from the DOJ and this con girl from the FTC trying to change the rules. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. They're not happy about what happened. So there's new merger rules that they're trying to get in place. I think I'm not sure if you need a vote for these things or not. I'm not positive. But anyway, they're trying to tighten the noose about deals. Okay, India's Tata Group going to build another gigafactory. $5 billion this time in England, and that just shows the need for these these metal stocks, these rare earths, I should say. Ukraine shit show continues. This time, since there's no wheat deal, the port that sends out the wheat is Odessa, and they're bombing the crap out of them. Also attacked Kiev with drones, etc., etc. Now Ukraine wants longer range missiles. This ain't going to end anytime soon, it appears at the moment. There's a BRIC conference in South Africa. They were debating whether to arrest Putin if he shows. You don't have to worry about it because he said he's not going. 15 of these strategists give their global market outcome for the second half of 2023. Do yourself a favor, don't read it, because these guys don't know more than your 3-year-old. Carvana, this news is really big, guys, because there's not that many shares outstanding, right? And the short interest is 45%. It's 106 million shares outstanding. This new thing saves them $430 million in interest payments for between 2025 and 2027. So that's goes right to the bottom line. And if you want to wonder who've been buying the stock, I would bet you dollars to donuts it was the bondholders. When the company called them and asked them if they would go along with this, they knew the stock would rock. Okay, so you want to try to talk about insider trading 101? I would think that has a lot to do with it. If you got a call and you were, along the debt, and this is what they proposed, and you thought it would pass, what do? You buy this shit hand over fist, and all these guys that are shorting it, I would say they got a wedgie this morning. Okay, Microsoft, you see they're monetizing this AI. Everything's going right for these guys, and CRM is coming out with some kind of AI thing this morning as well. We'll talk about that if we get the chance. So Carvana's big news. Okay, that's a 430 million right to the bottom line. Okay, really, and their numbers were a little better than expectations as well. Microsoft we discussed. Goldman. Okay, let's talk about Goldman for a minute. Goldman numbers came in shitty, right? Of all these numbnuts that come on TV, all right, I'm a really big Carrie Firestone fan, and she was talking. She doesn't own Goldman. She thinks they should have stayed private. This, that, and the other thing. But what's propelling these financials, especially the investment banking firms, is, assets under management. That's what the investors want to see. And Goldman Sachs really isn't in that game. Okay, they're in the IPO game. So the IPO game has been, in the dugout now for what? Since COVID started. So for the last few years. So these guys are in, kind of bad shape, but one point, this is the first hot IPO I've seen today out of Goldman Sachs in a few years. Okay, they're doing this deal, ODD, Oddity Group, 12 million shares. It was supposed to come 27 to 30, then 32, 34. Now it's coming at 35, 12 million shares Goldman. These are the kind of deals you see when the IPO market is open, and they're going to be fighting, and the stock will open at a premium and yada, yada, yada. So maybe the door is opening somewhat with the market as healthy as it is. If I'm betting man, I would say that's what's going to happen. And that's a positive for Goldman. I think if that wasn't the narrative, I would think the stock would be down, even worse than it is now. But I think the outlook, if the IPO window opens, might be a whole lot better for these guys moving forward. We have to keep an eye on that. All right. So that's another thing. North Korea doesn't want to have nuclear talks with the US, yada, yada, yada with that. Earnings, Carvana was good, JBHT, Ali Bank, CBSH, ELV. So we had UNH last week, ELV this week, and all these people who were negative on the HMOs have taken it in the keister. FHN was good, NASDAQ, NTRS, all good there. USB was kind of in line. Letter U is doing a program, a beta program for this Vision OS, which is an Apple product. So that little relationship looks like it's getting off the ground. Salesforce, which we discussed a second ago, Einstein GPT is launched. That stock is up a Finsky on that. VBIV had decent news. Telephone is saying only 10% letter T of their lead cables or whatever, contaminant or lead, whatever it is. It's a positive. The stock's a piece of shit. I would never own this thing. AMD, we discussed about the NVIDIA thing, right? It's up on that. Twins is saying it's fake news. I have no feeling on it either way, so I'll take him for his word on it. On the negative side, you had this JBHT, ASML's down a little bit on earnings. I don't think they were terrible, but it's down a little bit. Two drillers missed, Halliburton and BKR. Goldman, we discussed. BC missed. A couple of offerings, AQMS, AVR. Activision, they moved the closing date, guys. This really isn't material. All right. All they're saying is we're not, there was a closing deadline and they moved it because they didn't want, they want to do this deal, and they're going to do this deal, and it's going to close whenever it's going to close, but it's not going to be in October. And that's why the stock isn't really moving. I don't think it shouldn't be moving. Let's say. No, it's BS. Ignore it. Basically, is what I'm saying. J&J joins the growing list of drug companies suing the U.S. government. So what was it? Pfizer first, then it was Merck, then it was J&J. They don't want them controlling prices, yada, 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 like that. AQMS offering housing starts were better than 1.43 versus 1.48. And building permits 144 versus 1.5. That's a little better. We have a bunch of numbers coming out tonight, right? We know. Let's see what we got. AA, Netflix, UAll, IBM, LVS, Zion. Tomorrow before the opening, did I catch them all? I might have missed one or two. LVS, I said, right? CCI, SL Green, which I've been long that stock, Tesla, Zion. Okay, so that's it. Tomorrow before the opening, we have American Airlines. They gouged me last night, so fuck them. FCX, Fifth Third, J&J, Newmont, a bunch of names. Just keep an eye on them. Taiwan Semi is the big one before the opening tomorrow, in my opinion. And that's it with that. Research wise, this Joby was downgraded to sell. We've traded that before, it's a meme or whatever the hell it is. Stock out of JP Morgan. Any other downgrades? QS was downgraded because the timeline keeps sliding for the commercialization of their product. Redfin was downgraded. Any upgrades worthwhile? Everybody loves Microsoft. That's really it, guys. All right, so I'm really thrilled to be back, and let's have a good day, okay? Spartan, it's all yours, my man.
All right, thank you, South Beach, guys. Morning, what's up? What's going on? Let's get right into it. So, if you guys are new to chat, however you're done, so make sure you click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. You're gonna pop into chat. It's gonna look something a little bit like this. I'm just one sec, actually. Just quickly help someone here. All right, I'm all done. Okay. So anyways, guys, if you guys are new to chat, however you're done, so make sure you click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. You pop into chat, it's gonna look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, disclaimer section, click on that, give it a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section and scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, a link to the disclaimer, as well as this bolded risk reward section. Important, to go through both in regards to risk reward, guys, most important ratio in trading, so definitely worth checking out. Continue to scroll down, we have a summary of how this chat works, breaks all these channels work on the left-hand side, so you can properly navigate the chat throughout the day. Important to know where to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below this, options rules that are used Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, etc., etc. Right here, SPX rules that we like to use every single from the SPX ideas. Right below that, continue to scroll down. We have any other small account, breaking down. If you have a smaller account, in our opinion, here's some things that you can apply that could help you grow that account. How to pick ideas from an options directory perspective. Probably the second most important thing in trading, which is how to overlay your own criteria on top of anything that you're seeing to basically weed things out, make sure that you're only sticking with things that make sense for you and your account. Then lastly, high conviction small account trades, post in that area when they do make sense. Primarily doing some credit spreads every single day for income generation on the SPX. All right, pre-market tickers on watch, guys. What do we got going on today? If you guys are watching the YouTube stream, you can simply just pause it, give this a read. There you go. There you go. There you go. You can see all the charts posted, of course. And then in the options section, we have our options chart prepared by Beth. All righty. Pre-market tickers on watch. What do we got today? Tesla, Humana, CRM, VMW, CBNA, DMAC. Tesla got big up continuation from last day's move. Same with Humana. CRM, Salesforce announces general availability and pricing for GBT powered features for sales and service. Secure through Einstein GPT trust layer gapping up. VW, a CMA panel has provisionally found that AVGO's deal to buy VMware would not weaken the competition and supply of critical computer server products. Gapping up. CBNA gapping up on earnings. DMAC stock is rising on updated on their a special update on their SPAC. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. So let's take a look at what we got going on here. First two, Tesla, Humana. Let's have a gander. All right, so Tesla guys pivot to the upside today. Going to be 292.29 level holds, 297.51, 304.17, unable to hold 285.64, 281.20 downside, leaning bullish neutral. Looking for a continuation push higher today. Humana pivot upside today is going to be 44.31, 444.31. A level holds 451.48 to 458.43, unable to hold 439.67, 435.46 downside, leaning bullish neutral there. Looking for a continuation push higher if that pivot point is able to hold. Let's take a look at CRM. Let's take a look at BMW. CRM pivot to the upside today is going to be the 232.17 level holds, 234.72, 238.62, unable to hold 227.71 to 223.49 on the downside, leading bullish neutral, looking for a continuation push higher today. VMW 168.20 pivot level holds 172.55 to 176.21. Unable to hold 164.41 to 161.29 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral on that, looking for a continuation push higher. CVNA and then DMAC. CVNA 50.95 pivot level holds 58.68 to 63.80 on the upside will be tested. Unable to hold 44.72, 41.35 downside, leaning bullish neutral. Looking for a continuation push higher today, in my opinion, if that pivot point can hold. Pivots on DMAC to the upside today, 14.60 level unable to hold. Room group 12 to 11.14, unable to hold 17, or sorry, able to hold 17.49, 1967 upside leaning bearish, looking for a pop in any sort of top. You can take that name short. Let's take a look at the spine of the thing. And I got to type this out as I typically do, my friends. SPY 453.66 pivot on the upside today. This level, in my opinion, of course, this level holds room higher into the 456.08 resistance breaks. We see the 458.18 tested. Pivot unable to hold. Room lower into the 450.93 support. Breaks. We see the 447.51 tested. Meaning bullish. Neutral. So that's the SPY. Let's take a look at the rest of the thing here. Apple. Pivot to the upside today, going to be the 194.30 spot level holds 195.98, 198.74, unable to hold 192.22 to 189.53 on the downside, leading bullish neutral there. Let's take a look at Amazon. Pivot upside today, guys. We got the 133.84 break of the flag. Level holds 135.36, 139.48. Actually, a little bit of resistance at 136.69. Unable to hold 131.82, 128.89 downside, leading bullish neutral there. Netflix pivot upside today, and we had a beautiful run on this one yesterday. 475.84 level holds, 493.80. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback on the Netflix into the 459.06 on the downside, leading bullish neutral there, looking for a continuation push higher. Meta pivot upside is going to be 310.52 level holds, 316.25. Unable to hold 304.51 downside, leading bullish neutral there. Google. Pivot on the upside, 124.14 level holds. We got room towards 125.22 to 127.07. Unable to hold 122.48, 120.02 downside, leaning bullish neutral if the pivot's able to hold as well. Sticking with the VIX, Qs, and IWM. VIX, guys, pivot is going to be 13.46, unable to hold 12.75, able to hold 14.30. Not leaning any particular direction, but using it for directional market cues. 387.66 pivot level holds 390.01, 391.19, unable to hold 383.08, 379.12 downside, leading bullish neutral there. And last but not least, guys, SPX. You could flip that over to the daily chart. 45.62 pivot level holds 45.99, unable to hold 45.29, 44.93 at the downside, leaning bullish neutral there. Anyways, guys, that's the spot. That's the FANG. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today. If you guys want to come join us in chat, certainly do so. Go to SpartanTrading.com. We had a fantastic last 2 days, and actually last week was great too. But 900% trade on Tuesday is pretty nuts. And then we had a ton of SPXs that ripped. So be sure to check us out, SpartanTrading.com. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. We do this every single Wednesday. I did throw out a Simon update on the YouTube as well, guys. So everyone in chat, feel free to watch it. I posted in the daily recap section. So we're checking out. Anyways, that's it, my friends. Thanks for watching.